Today, I want to wrap up the series on encouragement and like to give you some rules for encouragement. It's important that we encourage one another. Sometimes that encouragement comes in the way of rebukes and restraining someone from doing what's wrong. And when we do that, we need to be sure that it's not looking down our spiritual noses at others and rebuking them because we think we're better than they are. But we got to be careful in our encouragement that it's not selfish or self-serving. We don't want to encourage someone for personal gain, for some kind of preferential treatment. We want to be sure that the encouragement that we give is truthful and sincere. Secondly, we want to be sure that we're not afraid to encourage somebody. The scripture talks very strongly about fear being one of the restraining things that comes in. 1 John 4:18 comes to mind as talking about fear. So we want to be sure we're not afraid to encourage somebody. And then we want to be sure that we remember Hebrews 10:24, that we should look for ways to stimulate someone to good works, encouraging them in those good works. That's a very important principle. So we have fear and trying to stimulate someone to good works. And then sometimes we need to remember that giving advice is not as valuable as just being understanding. Sometimes an encouragement comes from just being understanding of somebody's situation. I would refer you to the story in John of Mary and Martha having lost their brother, and Jesus wept with them. You see, understanding the pain and the hurt and just being there very often is a greater encouragement than any advice we could possibly give. Number 4, we need to remember that all people are different. Not everybody responds the same way to the same types of encouragement. And finally, number 5, I want to really remind you that in most cases, again, taking into consideration all people are different, encouragement spoken in public carries 10 times the weight of encouragement spoken in private. Let me say that again for you. Encouragement spoken in public carries 10 times the weight of encouragement spoken in private. If I encourage my son in front of others, it carries far more weight than if I've spoke it personally to him without anybody else listening. If I speak publicly and encourage someone from the pulpit who's in the congregation, it carries 10 times the weight that if I just told them personally and privately the word of encouragement. So let's be sure that we know the people, because not all people respond the same, and some may not want their name encouraged in public. But nevertheless, in most cases, encouragement spoken in public carries 10 times the weight that it does spoken privately. Now, you say, well, not all of us are pastors and not all of us have a chance to speak from the pulpit. No, please hear me. When I talk about talking in public, I may mean if your child does something good and you want to encourage them, spoken in front of the rest of the family, or even more importantly, in front of their friends when they're over at your house, carries 10 times the weight of encouragement spoken privately to them. How about your wife, your husband, speaking in front of others in a loving way about your wife or your husband carries 10 times the weight as when it's whispered in their ear. Let me say that again for you. Husbands and wives, when you want to encourage your mate, it'll carry 10 times the weight if it's spoken in front of others instead of just whispered in their ear. You may love them greatly, and you may want to whisper in their ear a word of encouragement. But my friends, it'll carry a lot more weight when it's spoken in front of others, and it comes sincerely from your heart. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.